warm. It is a beautiful Saturday morning here. The sun is shining. We have had so much rain recently, and so just makes my heart sing. But we have a lot to do today. I have been up since before the sun, working on a special little something for our neighbors. I have 5 times the recipe of croissants going this morning, and thought that it would be fun to give them a little Christmas gift of homemade sourdough croissants filled with a pastry cream. We have all kinds of stuff up our sleeves here, but this time of year though, even just homemaking feels so cozy and magical, and I absolutely love it. So anyways, let me know in the comments below what you're working on today, and we can get some things done together. I have made croissants on here a number of times before, and so you've seen this process. But basically, to laminate the dough and get all those flaky, buttery layers, we keep folding it over. There's a ton of butter in each of these, and then turning it into pamphlets and doing that, and then crisscrossing. I have some more in-depth videos. I'll also leave this recipe for you in the description box below, but that's what we're doing now. We have a couple more folds to do before we can cut them and let them rise. So we'll be busy with this off and on through a good portion of the day before we actually get to baking. To do more stretch and folds on my croissant dough, but I'm going to take a quick little break from that and put my bread dough into pans here. Get that on its second rise.
This place during March season.
Oh. Chilling in the fridge for about 2 hours now, so I'm gonna go ahead and start rolling them out, shaping them, and then they need to rise for like 4 to 5 hours. Went and put my hair up because I saw a hair on the edge of my parchment paper, and I do not want any to get in with my dough. So I am rolling it out this time to 11 by 24 inches, and then I'll mark it. I like to do fairly big croissants. I'll probably do like 3 to 4 inch marks on the sides then. I'm a little bit jealous of the kids this morning. My sister-in-law called and offered to take them to a dog show, spur of the moment, so they actually just ran out the door, and they're doing that today, so I'm sure they'll come back with all kinds of good stories. I think it's Newfie dogs. We had a Newfie, as a lot of you know, for, oh goodness, 10 years, and then she passed last summer, and now we have a different Newfie. We just love Newfies around here, so I think they are like pulling Christmas trees and things like that, so they will have a blast, but also gives me a little bit more quiet and space to get all of these croissants ready.
Child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch our keep.
Okay, they are all in pans. I didn't have quite enough cookie sheets, so we made do with whatever we could. I'm going to let these rise now for about 4 hours. The only thing I'm going to do is once in a while we'll come and baste them with water just to keep them from drying out, but otherwise it's time for them to get all pillowy.
This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him, Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary.
I told you the other day about our major renovation. I shouldn't call it a major renovation, a major mishap in the living room that turned into a bit of a renovation. I had started loading that bottom bookshelf completely full of books, and as you know, books are heavy, and I guess them being floating shelves did not quite hold up like I had hoped. And half of the bottom bookshelf came crashing out of the wall, pulled the entire thing out. Anyways, so that is being redone. Now we're actually doing a built-in bookshelf look. It's kind of turned into a bit of a bigger project. We're painting the whole thing. Josh is currently putting up that bottom shelf. And then I've already started painting, but I need to do some more painting, and then we'll do trim to match actually my pantry here. So really wide, kind of detailed trim. It'll have sections. Anyways, I'm really excited about it, but that's another thing in the works here today. Our chickens are still going strong with laying eggs, and so one of our favorites, and we especially do this a lot on Saturdays, is kind of a breakfast for lunch situation. Often I'll make a quiche. I'm a little bit late to start a quiche right now, so I just pulled some of these sausages. These we actually had done when we butchered our cow. This one is sweet Italian, and this one is just a smoked. And so I'm gonna put those in my pan here. I'll just bake those, and then I think we'll do scrambled eggs, some fruit. Whoever wants toast, I also want to use from these for supper, so but some of them I'm sure will want it fresh now as well. Have that with us, and it'll be super easy but good protein. One of my favorite things about eggs is how high they are in protein, and so it's always a good like fast food on days when you have a lot going on. For the filling for the croissant, so I am chopping up a bunch of apples here. I think I'll make like an apple compote, put that in the bottom, and then the pastry cream on top, and then probably dust it with some icing sugar. I'm not sure how I want to garnish yet, so but that is my plan. I have all these apples on hand, so I think that'll be a good way to use them up, and then I think the kids will come in soon and help also chop up some apples for applesauce. These apples are starting to go on us, so we're gonna try to clean some more of them up here this afternoon. As planned, but I did get the croissants finished baking and I'm ready to cut them. So when I cut croissants, and I've showed this on here before, I like to cut them the long way and then fill them. So I have my apple filling is done and my pastry cream is ready, and so I think we're ready to put them together. actually, and the kids are just finishing up some of their reading and math before we do our unit studies. And so I quickly grabbed the rest of my Christmas cards and am getting these ready for the mail. See if I get that done before they are ready for the unit studies. But Saturday was kind of a total flop. Well, I shouldn't say a total flop. My stomach really flared up, so I was not feeling good throughout the day. I don't know if you noticed that in video or not. Hopefully not. But my croissants were never delivered to the neighbors. You saw I was working on it. Everything was going good. The croissants were great, but for whatever reason, when I re-whipped my pastry cream, it would not thicken again. I put it in the freezer, I put it in the fridge, I tried everything I could think of, and it would not thicken, and I knew that I did not have time to start from scratch for when I didn't have enough eggs anymore. And for two, I was just running out of time to let it cool completely because you don't want to put warm pastry cream in a croissant. And so anyway, it was just kind of a train wreck. And croissants, like, they are just by far the best, like, same day. And so I did not want to deliver them the next day. And so now we just have been eating a lot of croissant sandwiches, which are delicious. My family is quite overjoyed with the amount of croissants we have on hand, but I'm bummed because I was going to do something special for the neighbors. I still want to do something special for the neighbors, but I think I'm going to do something just a little bit less labor intensive because we have a lot going between now and Christmas, and I don't want it to be a stressful thing. I want it to just be something we can enjoy doing. Maybe I can even do with the kids, and then that can just bless our neighbors. So, but today is looking like a fairly typical Monday. I want to do the unit studies with the kids, which we have been so loving the Christmas units. And then I also want to sit down and meal plan. I feel like on busy weeks, which the weeks leading up to Christmas here have been so busy, I've been struggling a little bit with pushing my meals to the last minute and then not knowing what to cook and feeling like it's too late to do anything, and then it feels like you have the same thing all the time. So I want to sit down and make a proper menu so that I don't need to worry about that so much through the week. This living room wall still needs painted. I just feel like I have a bunch of kind of mundane things. I need to clean the oven before we have friends to bake cookies tomorrow. Okay, before I leave here, let's talk about Christmas gifts a little. I absolutely love wrapping gifts, and my little hack, if I have one, is just getting cheap wallpaper off of Amazon and wrapping with that. I just feel like you can get way cuter designs. Both of these here, that's wrapping paper, that's wrapping paper. This is actually a drawer liner, it's velvet. This is actual wrapping paper, but a lot of the designs, it's actually wallpaper, and it works so well. And then I also like getting little ornaments like this to just make it special and personalized for the kids. Got a cute little wool lamb there, that's also actually an ornament. Anyway, so hopefully that's some wrapping inspiration. If you're still wrapping gifts, I actually need to finish up mine as well. Okay, they're just finishing up their reading, so I wanted to share with you what I read in 2024. This is not a very impressive pile for a lot of you, I know. But for me, I really don't enjoy reading very much, and so a goal of mine this year was to make myself read more. The norm for me is not even a book a year. So other than I do love to read through the Bible in a year, and then often a devotional book, but that's usually as far as it goes. So this year I pushed myself. You will notice a lot of these do have like pictures in them. They're not picture books per se. They do have a lot of good information as well, but I can get myself to read it a little easier if there's at least a lot of pictures in it. But I thought we would do a quick little run through of these books in case you need ideas, and then I would also love to hear your ideas down in the comments below. I am hoping to continue this on into 2025 and continue to push myself to read more. So first up is this book, Leaves, Roots, and Fruits. This is really helpful, would be super helpful, especially if you are just getting into gardening, but even I learned a couple of things from that one. This is in no particular order, by the way, but I happen to have another gardening one on the top here. This one you saw recently from my parents' thrift store haul. This one I'm definitely planning to reference as I get back into gardening next summer. I read Growing Seasons by Kristen John. Some of you might follow her on YouTube or Instagram. She has some recipes in here, some crafts, and it's kind of a seasonal book. Okay, maybe I read a lot of gardening books. Y'all know what I love. This one is beautiful. This would make a beautiful even coffee table book. Garden Roses by Gracie Linda. She has a rose farm, I believe it's in California, and so much good information all throughout this book of growing roses, varieties of roses, what to do for pests, and really helpful. Okay, a little bit of a different genre. This is Memory Making Mom by Jessica Smart, and highly recommend this one. This one does not have pictures, but I highly recommend this one for moms. This is a book that I just had sitting in my bookshelf for years. She did what she could. I think it's a good book, not as impactful for me personally as some, but it was a good book. The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush. This was when I was pregnant and having all those gallbladder problems. So very insightful. I don't agree with everything in this book, but it did have some good points as well. This one has been so recommended by so many people. The Gospel Comes with a House Key, and I would agree. It's a great book. You can see, did a lot of highlighting in this one. Very good. Beechdale Road. So this story actually happened a couple years ago, not too far from where we live, and it's basically the story of an Amish girl was kidnapped and then they couldn't find her. The guy that kidnapped her, this is his family writing the story. But anyway, just a good testimony. This one I had trouble putting down till it was done, where mercy is more powerful than murder. And so that's a really good read as well. Another one I read was Gay Girl, Good God by Jackie Hill Perry. Also a very interesting read, The Whole and Healthy Family. Goodness, this was one of the first ones and I'm having a little trouble remembering too many details about it. I think I enjoyed reading it, but I wouldn't say it's one of my top 5. Oh, and that reminds me, I actually have another one that a friend is borrowing and reading right now. It's about technology. I picture the book, but I cannot remember the title. So I'll try to put the title here, but I highly recommend. I think all moms, even if you're not moms, if you have a phone, you should read that book. So good. Okay, this was one of my favorites. This is actually the last one that I finished. French Country Cottage Inspired Gatherings. First of all, this book is beautiful. It literally gets me drooling. And I cannot wait to host, and even Josh saw this book and he's like, okay, I guess now we're gonna need a shed for all the tables and chairs you're gonna collect for dinners everywhere. Highly recommend that one, and also make a beautiful coffee table book. Next is Fruit Trees for Every Garden. I am trying to better my fruit trees, realizing that an orchard is a completely different ballgame than a vegetable garden or even a flower garden. And so that has been helpful for that. And then lastly, I have Making a Home, Fostering a Life of Intention and Connection by Mary Salas. So those are the books that I read in 24. Memories on my video where I did the giveaway was so sweet. A lot of them were pretty tear-jerking actually, but I really enjoyed reading through those. So thank you so much for taking the time to share those. I truly just appreciate all of your support, and how you comment on each other's comments is beautiful. I just love the community that's being built, because I cannot do that all on my own. I cannot reach around, and when you encourage each other in the comments, it just makes my day. So anyways, another thing that I learned from you was I made marshmallows. I think that was in my last video. and they tasted incredible. They were nice and smushy, but the tops were not nice and smooth. And so a couple of you said, oh, that was over whipped. And so I made some again yesterday, popped them in the fridge, and they are looking so much better. It is nice and smooth. So we're gonna cut these up. We actually have a cookie bake today. I thought some hot chocolate would be fun with homemade marshmallows again. Oh my goodness! Bone broth hot chocolate will be delicious today. I did find that it works a lot better to use a wet knife. I put hot water on this and then cut it. You just get a much cleaner cut. But what I have found is that when you put this in the bottom of a mug, yesterday I even did it with Josh's coffee, or we've done it with bone broth, but when you put the hot liquid over it, it foams up and it looks like foam with a couple little clumps of marshmallow. It's delicious. So anyway, definitely will be on repeat here for us this winter. Last year was the first year that we made sourdough gingerbread and sourdough sugar cookies. And this year I thought, well, what could we do to also replace the food coloring? So I actually ground up a bunch of different freeze-dried fruits that I had on hand, and we did this a couple days ago. It worked beautifully, so we're doing that again today. So there's blueberries for purple, there's pumpkin for orange, raspberries for red, mint leaves for green, and then I also did some bananas this time. I'm guessing this will just make kind of a creamish color. But the fun thing is that all of the icing also tastes like these flavors. So anyway, that's just been a fun little discovery for us here this year. And we're all set up. Super simple, but I think the kids will have fun. These little icing bottles are a game changer when it comes to decorating cookies, especially with kids. I just got them off Amazon, so I will try to remember to link them down there for you as well. But I hope you enjoyed following along over the last couple of days. I feel like it was a little bit of a jumble of things this week, but I hope you gained some inspiration. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you were inspired, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden thing.